welcome to Two Guys Talking.
With Marcus and Kris. I was actually meaning you should start by opening the bottle because that'd be kind of cool.
I was going to wait for you to say welcome to Two Guys Talking, then pop the bottle because that's like the signature thing.
I just feel like I need to switch it up a little bit. I don't know. Like, how do you feel about the intro?
I like it. I like it.
The music's good.
I would say with Marcus and Kris.
Mm-hmm.
Before we forget.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm Marcus and you're Kris.
Exactly. Yeah, I like the music. The cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
But obviously, we don't hear the music before we press record.
No, we just set a timer going.
Do you sit there imagining it playing in your head? No? Just me?
Just you.
Bit weird that. Okay, fair enough. Have you got the bar blade?
I have got the Beyblade. In fact, this is the Beyblade you got for my birthday.
Yeah. So do you want to describe it?
Well, it's just a skull on the background. Like, we've got a lot of skulls in the flat. My Beyblades before now have been skull-based. And so Marcus got me this Beyblade for my birthday.
And you have never used it?
No, because I've not been in work. I was waiting to go back to work.
Oh, you're going to use it in work?
Yeah, man.
Sick.
Why would I not use it in work? I feel like that's one thing they don't police is as long as your Beyblade doesn't have any profanity on it, you can use whatever you want.
What's your profanity?
What's your profanity? Good job they don't listen to this.
Okay, so this week we are drinking Corona. We've obviously had our 3-week bender on Trooper beer. We're just going to play it normal now. We're just going to chill out a little bit. We do want to have special beers on this show, but we're just going to go Corona. Now, when you get a Corona, obviously you get the lime, you put it in the neck. Do you do this? Do you stick your thumb in the what's it called? Well, I guess the neck of the bottle.
You're asking me this knowing that I do it.
Right.
And bearing in mind you just saw me not do it.
I know, yeah. Well, I'm doing it now. I'm holding the bottle upside down. I can feel the pressure building up.
Yeah.
The lime is still a little fuck.
He's spilling his drink.
Oh, shit.
Marcus is not very good at this. He's spilling... It's getting beer all over the floor.
Fuck me. It's fucking hell. Right. Do you know why I did this?
Don't get too excited. I know you like doing the podcast, but come on now. There we go again. If you watch the Roots Teeth podcast, it's like Gavin's curse with bottled beers on turbo.
Describe
it's still going.
Describe what's
it's still
happening.
going.
It's an audio-only podcast. You can't tell people what's going on.
The bottle is ejaculating into his mouth non-stop.
It stops and then it just starts again, and then it's like... Fuck off! Oh my god, this is fucking horseshit. This never happens normally, right? I'm going to do the rest of the podcast, right, with my mouth around the bottle.
This is not the kind of start you want to a podcast. But
I want to get like some kitchen roll or something. I don't know. Like this is.
You just gotta leave it and mop up later.
Oh fucking! You can see it. You can see the foam. It's starting to come to the top because you put the bottle down, and then that fucking triggers it, and then it goes up again.
I don't think that was the problem because every time you get rid of it, you put it down like and because you just finished getting rid of all the foam, you'd go to take a drink and you'd have a quick swig, and that'd send it going again.
Right. Jesus. This is why we need to do a video podcast, right?
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
That was class. I'm sorry that all you get to listen to there is me pissing myself laughing while Marcus sucks off his Corona.
Oh my god. I mean, why do people do... Right. The whole point of putting the lime in and then sealing the top and then holding the bottle upside down is so that the lime goes through the whole drink. That's the reason why, right? You've
got to release the pressure gently. Like that's what I like to do.
Oh, I just hold on to it.
Yeah, you hold on to it. Make sure you get... Because you just stuck your thumb in and turned it round, so you got a gap. But you got to kind of like pull the thumb up and create a seal.
Oh, I see.
So when you turned it over and the pressure started building, you've not got a good seal.
I just jammed my thumb in it.
You did. So as soon as it found a gap, it was like, oh, hey... I'm going to squirt out everywhere.
The way that I'm looking at this, nice sound there, I don't trust that's a good seal. Like my thumb is kind of like, rather than just being jammed in the bottle, it's like at an angle.
That's not a good seal. 'Cause if I do that, I know it's going to come out. You want to pull it up so that your skin is essentially a new seal.
It hurts your nail though, like if you do that.
Yeah, I don't. I like to keep mine trimmed nice and short.
Oh Christ, that's gonna leave a stain, man. I mean, we can quite eat like on the floor. Like, there's quite a bit of Corona just like on the floor. My bottle's like, I don't know, like
He's barely drank any, and we're at the same point.
Half of it's gone already.
Man.
I mean, it tastes good.
Anyway, how's your week been, Marcus? What have you been up to?
Oh Jesus Christ. There's been a lot. There's been a lot going on. But at the same time, can I tell you what I've done? No. Like, it's one of them. It's like yesterday in particular was extremely busy, right?
Yeah.
But I cannot tell you. Like, I have to really think about it. You know, when you're so like you're so busy, but obviously, like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like you know those people who say, "Oh, I'm so busy," but like,
when you ask them
what
about
are you
it,
actually doing? Like, what are you actually doing right now? You know.
Oh, for you, it's just work, isn't it? Like you
Well,
have been
so
in work quite late this week.
Well, a lot of it as well is yesterday. We're recording this on a Sunday. Yesterday was Saturday, and I went to go and I had a few errands to run. I went to go and pick up your car.
Yeah.
So
we'll get onto that later.
We will.
You've got the car.
But it's funny about the car because obviously you're buying this car.
Yeah.
We will go on to it later, but you're buying this car, but you are currently a provisional license holder, right?
That's
true.
It's
not a full license, still learning.
That's true.
So I had to go and collect it. And what was funny was I started my weekend feeling like I was some kind of criminal. Like I was... Basically, a friend of mine from work was selling his car, and I said, "Okay, cool. Well, I've got to go pick it up, but you can buy it."
Yeah.
So you bought this car. I've got to go and pick it up. He wasn't home. His parents were home, and he said, "It's all right. Just go to the house. They know that someone's going to take the car. Just go." I get to the pinpoint on Google Maps, and well, I don't know what this guy's house looks like. I just know what the car looks like, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, I can't see. So of course, I walk a bit further than the pinpoint on Google Maps because it was obviously off a little bit, and I eventually find the car. But bearing in mind, like I must look really shady because I'm like looking around, like, oh, you know,
you're basically looking at cars' reg plates, trying to find the right one.
Mm-hmm. Must have looked well dodgy, and then eventually I find the car. It's an old car, so there's no the fob's got no battery, so you have to stick the key in.
Yeah. It basically said you've got to use the key. Like, there's no electronic opening or anything.
Yeah.
As soon as I got the key, I pressed the button on top. I'm like, oh, battery's dead.
Yeah.
Needs a new battery.
Whereas my mate genuinely thought you had to just stick the key in order to like actually stick it into the car. That's unheard of.
And the irony is, I found a new battery for it so quickly that I've already ordered it. It's already on the way.
Genuinely, this guy, like, he's a good guy, but he's not that into his cars. Doesn't really know much about cars. Clearly didn't know that his car that he's had for like 3 years, if you just replace the battery for £3, you could actually unlock it from distance. But he's been walking up to it like a dweeb and like unlocking it, you know, like it's the 90s or something.
Oh, we're having to do that now.
Well, we're doing that now, yeah. But I mean, like, it's great, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're able to use the car and do all that kind of stuff. But what was funny, yesterday I picked up the car for you. But I had some errands that I was running. I had some stuff I was doing.
I would argue
my fingers
it got
are very
to the
sticky,
point
by the
of
way.
taking the piss.
A little bit, yeah. I had all these errands I was doing, like driving all around the north of England, and eventually coming back to you at like 3:00 that evening. Well, that afternoon, considering I'd got the car at like 7:30 that morning.
Yeah, I knew you needed it in the morning. I knew you had your house viewings. You went and did that. I thought you were going to be doing your viewings and coming back shortly after. But he decided to stay for lunch with his mum.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm not going to be angry at that. He's like, I'm just having lunch with my mum and I'll be over in a bit. All right, yeah. Have lunch with him. I'll just stick something on Netflix.
Yeah, man. And I think 3 hours later, I got back to Manchester because I decided, you know what, right, before I get back to Manchester, before I give the car to Kris, there's one more thing I need to do. And it was to go and see a mate of mine that I've not seen for quite a while. I helped him out with some stuff to do with his work, and he said, "Oh, come over to my workplace, and I've got a present for you." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. What's this?" I get there, and like, lo and behold, you've got a 70 centilitre bottle of Belvini Caribbean cask, 14 aged single malt Scotch whiskey.
No, like, I would say
beautiful. I'm not massively into whiskey, but I mean, this is good stuff, man.
I would say Balvenie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Balvenie.
the standard double wood one is one of my favourite whiskies. I think it's quite sweet.
Okay.
This one, I would say, is a little more on the spicy side.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite complex. I had it straight originally, but I would personally have it over ice. I think Marcus prefers a bit of water with it.
Yeah, well, there's different ways of drinking it. I mean, you always maintain when you first drink a new whiskey, have it neat, have it straight, sip it, get a sense for it. Some people like to add a few drops of water. I did that on my second glass. Some people prefer whiskey rocks or ice if you want to dilute it a bit. I think that's how you prefer it, isn't it, with ice?
It depends on the whiskey.
Yeah.
Like, straight up double wood, I just have it straight. It's like I say, it is quite a sweet whiskey. It's really easy to drink. You know, even some peaty whiskies I prefer to have straight because I like the peatiness.
I like it because it's Caribbean cask. So what they've done is they've matured it in rum casks.
Yeah.
So
we saw a different one today that's rum casked as well.
Yeah, what was that?
That was a Glenfiddich. Mm-hmm. Which obviously is quite
experimental. It was like one of their experimental ones, which means they might not do it again.
No, it might be a one and done type thing.
That could be. So do you reckon with that there's reason to think it could be valuable one day?
Maybe in like 10, 20 years down the line. So obviously when they do these batches, it's not so small that it's really hard to get. They still make it accessible to the public at a price. However, 10, 15 years down the line when people have been drinking these bottles, the amount available is going to go down. It's like when we were checking the price for this, we saw, a 45-year version for 32k. That's
£32,000, man. Yeah. £32,000. And I mean, it doesn't matter how rich you are. You're drinking that. Like, that's just got... But I mean, it depends. I guess at that level, it's about the experience of it. And I mean, obviously, you know... I don't know, man. Like, I just kind of feel at that level, you have to appreciate it on a whole new level.
You have to really, really like your whiskies if you're getting that much money spent on it.
Yeah. But I kind of feel like with that age, like, what was that? How old was that? 50 years?
Like 40, 45 years?
Yeah, like,
50.
if you drink that, then obviously... Whereas if you just wait a bit longer, soon it'll be 50 years, soon it'll be 60 years.
Although I believe with the aging, it's cask age against bottle age. Like, you could have... Like, the wine I've got in there is a 2011. However, the reason that's still cheap is because it's only a bottle aging that's going on.
Right.
So the price goes up a lot slower. Whereas if it's barrel aged longer, the prices are much higher.
Because it's been in the barrel for...
And it's been with the supplier. It's been stored how it should be stored. Whereas you could have got that and opened it for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
But if you kept it in a hot room, the value's not going to be as high.
That's the thing, because at least in the distillery, it's been stored how it's supposed to be stored. It's not been bleached, not been stained, nothing's going on. It's good shit, man. Like for the stuff I did for him, if I was charging, I probably could have, earned more than this bottle's worth. But the sentiment's there. It's not something I would have bought for myself. It's actually really nice. And you know what? I might get into drinking whiskey a lot more now. I've been on my gins recently, as you know. Been buying frozen fruits and putting like the blackberries and the raspberries in the gin and using them as ice cubes, essentially. Yeah. And that's been good. And this is good shit, man.
Of course, he's come to you with a new project to try as well.
Here's the thing. Like, we're not going to disclose the details, okay? But what I want to talk about, just because obviously we've not started this project yet, but what I would like to talk about is, like, filming documentaries on travel, sports, active sports, whether it's cars or bikes or, whatever, where there's a bit of movement, okay? And just the logistics of it. And I don't know, like, that's something that really
I feel like me. I did a documentary segment in my course in uni. I feel like unless it's something you're super passionate about, it's really hard to get into. Yeah. We were going to, for my group originally, we were going to interview a World War II vet about his experience in the war. Oh, nice, yeah. And how that's affected him and how he sees the future now, essentially. And we ended up not being able to do it, which was really sad. Because he passed away, unfortunately, before we actually managed to do this interview. Wow. So we actually lost a really valuable story in that. And this is the point, like, when it comes to documentaries, you're preserving
people's lives, people's stories, people's perspectives.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Obviously, unfortunately, you lost that, and
doing this one gives us an opportunity to tell a different kind of story. I wouldn't say it's as important as the one we lost. However, it is still a story that carries a message.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's something that we can transfer to an audience.
Yeah. Now, I can hear my mate in the back of my head saying, "Oh, you always talk about stuff on the podcast that you can't talk about." And while we can't talk about this, we can give a bit of a top level overview. So essentially, I've got some friends who they wanna do a bike ride, okay, from Scotland down to England, and it's essentially capturing that journey.
Yeah.
What's cool about it is there might be instances where, like, I mean, they'll have GoPros on their bikes, they'll be pedaling, they'll be doing that kind of thing. But what I want us to do is have like a Top Gear style camera car, and then we've got the logistics all sorted out. We know where they are. We've got them tracked on GPS. We pick them up.
Yeah.
And then we like not pick up. I mean, like, we just kind of drive alongside them and film them with the proper equipment, and then obviously leave them in the Lake District. We head down to Manchester and film them as they return.
This is the thing. When you were telling me about this earlier, because you initially invited me to come and do some photography.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a good opportunity. There'd be
nice shots.
Some really beautiful, because it'll be through the Lake District, Edinburgh. Like, there's a lot of good opportunities.
And I just built on that and said, why are you meeting them halfway? Why don't you meet them in Edinburgh and make like a proper documentary about it and actually build a story that you could submit to short film festivals?
So I think one problem that we've got is just, batteries and storage media. We're limited as to how long we can record for and how much we can record, but there is ways around that.
We can rent extra gear, we can get batteries, we can get different lenses. That's one way around it. We could also get a on-the-go charger.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We can run things from power banks.
There's things we can do for the actual for the cyclists themselves. Okay, they'll have GoPros and stuff, and I don't know how good their batteries are, but I mean, look, for me, whatever the project ends up being, what I like about it is we're helping people tell a story. It's also going to be raising money for charity as well, and what's really cool is, I don't know, man, when I was a kid watching what is now old Top Gear, watching the guys drive across Botswana, like
the Top Gear challenges.
Yeah, like, it just, that kind of, I won't be alone in thinking this, but watching those, I always thought to myself, wow, I would love to be in a position to like go out and film that kind of stuff, film a journey, because of course, like, you'll have a script, you'll know what the route is, but things will happen along the way that you don't expect. So you got to improvise a little bit, and that's what I love.
I've always wanted to do is get a couple of mates together and do a Euro trip in cars.
That'd
Once
be cool.
we all can drive.
Mm-hmm.
We're slowly getting there.
Yeah.
But as the older we get, the less likely it seems to become, because we've all got proper lives now.
Yeah, this is the problem, right? So as you get older, you get your job, you get your kids, you get all that, and it just kind of like, life just takes over. And I mean, shit, man, like, I passed my test 5 years ago. There's a lot, and my life was very different 5 years ago. I feel like I'm still at uni, and there's a lot of friendships that I still have, but I just don't speak to them as much. We're not friends. It's just, just things happen, and before you know it, like 5, 10, 15 years go by, and it's like, shit, man, like, I've not spent time with these people, So I just think it's important, and I don't know, fuck, we've got quite deep already.
And I feel like the reason why you've not been driving recently is just a lack of need.
I've not needed to. I mean, been a pandemic on, and that's all good.
Not only that, because you got rid of your car before the pandemic. I reckon if you tried to sell the car you had now, you would not get anywhere near as much for it.
Well, no, but I mean, okay, right, I've opened another Corona. Need to get the lime sorted. Hopefully this time I won't mess it up. It's quite difficult because I'm reaching for the lime, but I need to keep my mouth near the mic. What I appreciate though, mate, is these limes, they are going in the bottle quite smoothly. The reason why I bring that up is because a few weeks ago, I was with a few mates. We had some Coronas, and I was teaching them about, you put your thumb in, you turn it upside down, right? And then obviously, the lime goes through, you drink it, and fuck me, I was fine. I did not spill any of the Corona, right? Good job they had a laminate floor, like we have, because we were mopping the whole night. Like, there was so much spillage.
So much lickage.
Nah. I mean, I appreciate my whiskey being aged, like wood barrel aged, but I mean, the same materials on your floor. I'm not really planning on aging my drinks with laminate flooring for a few minutes. Okay, hang on, right. So you're doing this with the Corona now. You just open one.
Yeah. So I've
So
opened
let me
the
see what you do.
Corona.
Yeah.
I put my thumb in so that it seals the top.
I've done that, but I just don't feel like it's sealed.
No, with your thumbnail, not really. Because I feel like you're just going to have the same problem again.
Oh, shit.
Yep, he's just had the same problem again.
Ah!
It just squirted in his eye.
Sorry, mate, I'm going to have to...
Oh, no. Yeah, he's going to have to go fix that one. Jeez.
Fucking lime juice in my eye, man.
Fucking lime juice in his eye, he just said. Well, while he's doing that, I'll touch on a story that happened earlier today. We'd gone...
Oh, shit.
We'd gone to Tesco, and obviously, because I'm still a learner, I'm still learning how to drive. Marcus has to be there as my co-pilot. And to be fair, yesterday we went all the way to my mum's and all the way back, about an hour each way, avoiding motorways, and it was perfectly fine. The only problem I'm having is actually getting the clutch up and going, because it's a petrol car. I'm used to a diesel. I've got to put a bit of gas in, where with my instructor's car, I just run it off the clutch. Bit of shit if you ask me. Anyway, we got to Tesco and we were trying to do a reverse bay park. I was backing it into the bay, and these shopping places, they have the car parks under the actual store, so there's a lot of support beams. And I'm backing up into the bay, and I backed up straight into one of the support beams and kind of dented the rubber bit on the bumper.
I mean, it's bad on me because I didn't know that was going to happen, and as your passenger, your supervisor essentially, I should have been aware of that. So I shat myself when you banged into that thing.
To be fair, no damage to the car, just a crack in the reg plate, which I hope isn't a problem. And even that is way less damage than my sister's car, which I got to see yesterday, which has got bumps and scrapes all over the fucker.
At least it's not got Corona stains all over it. Fucking hell. Have you seen this? Have you seen the state of this chair?
You are...
Oh my God.
You are making a mess, man.
I mean, with that one, I didn't even it didn't even go upside down. I held it kind of horizontally, and then I could see some of the Corona dripping out because obviously I didn't have a good seal with my thumb. Yeah. And then it just, went mental. I mean, to be fair, why don't you just put your mouth around it, and then as you tip it up, just do that, because the lime's going to go to the top. Watch this. I'm going to take a sip.
All right, this is going to be fun. Yeah, the lime's gone up. Yeah.
So, yeah.
You look like a twat doing it, but yeah.
Well, at least I'm not covered in bloody beer. I am anyway, but that's a previous story.
I feel like while we continue this podcast, you are barred from trying to do the lime sink trick.
Well, we're gonna move. I don't know what we'll drink next week, but maybe we'll move. I do wonder.
I will say next week will be on you. I supplied Trooper. Corona's just a nice, easy one.
Yeah, we'll get something nice. I mean,
pull something through the cracks. Something new.
I do wonder if we should. Beer's great, okay, but I do wonder. There's a lot of good whiskey out there, a lot of good gin.
Yeah,
we don't want to get hammered, right? But I don't know, man. I feel, to be honest, with spirits, the hangover's a lot cleaner. I find.
You are saying we should do a tasting session.
Hard liquor, yeah. I think we should but we should have a selection of whiskies.
I agree. We should do a tasting session with whiskies or something. But to stick with the theme for the first one, we should try and get hold of Brewdog and ask all 7 brothers, both Manchester-based breweries, something local.
Yeah.
And see if we can go there and have a proper tasting session. Ideally, with one of the curators you were telling me about. Mm-hmm. That would be really interesting because we can speak to him on the podcast and have a proper experience.
That'd be good. Well, is Brewdog based in Manchester?
I believe it's based in Scotland, but
they've got brewers here. I know that. Okay. Well, there's also Shindigger. Yeah,
Shindigger.
Similar sort of thing. Now, what these guys did, they're just a bunch of guys who met at MMU. I believe they went to Manchester Uni, and just started brewing beer, as quite a few of us did.
Yep.
Even I started brewing beer when I was at uni. They just took it to the next level, started doing their own things, getting their own hops, doing all that. And they're quite similar. They're like a smaller version of Brewdog, I'd say. They've not got their own tap houses. They've got their own brewery. It's basically an old warehouse in Salford. It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
And what you'll find is when we had like networking events and stuff around Manchester, you'd often find like Shindiger supplying the booze, you know.
Oh, that's how you build
That's how you build the brand, yeah. That's how you build the reputation. And a lot of it's like session IPAs. They do it through like, you know, like fruit beers, that kind of thing. It's all about, and I hate to use this word, it's all about the sesh. Like, you know, it's about, because it literally brewed from house parties in Manchester at uni, and that's what they're brewing for. So.
Well, the reason I said Brewdog is because you told that story a few weeks ago about the beer and cheese.
That was good. That was really good.
So it would definitely be interesting to actually be able to go down one day. It would probably have to be before business hours. Set up the recording, get everything set.
I'd like to do that.
And have someone there who can talk us through the beers and what they do.
Why
they started Brewdog.
In their home environment, because they'll have all the stuff. It's their, like, you know, their environment. They know what they're doing. I mean, I hope that would be possible. I'd like to do that. I think that'd be kind of cool.
And if someone from Brewdog is listening, please get in touch. backupspamfolder@gmail.com.
Love it. I like how you set up that email as like a bullshit spam folder email address like years ago. So, you know,
not even years ago. It was really recent.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah.
Really recent, because my 2 emails were apparently already signed up, but I couldn't recover the password. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to set up this one. Set up the account and just use that and set it up like that.
Yeah, nice. Good.
And then when we were doing the podcast, it's like, you know what? I'll set it up on this for now. And if we get a website or something, or we get an official affiliate for the web address, it'll be better. So we can set it up so that we both get emails, or we just send it through that on a collective email. And until then, we'll just keep using this one.
Yeah, I think it works. I mean, I'm just surprised that no one else had taken that domain, taken that name for the email address.
Right, you've got a massive problem if you need a backup spam folder.
Like, you want to back that shit up.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Well, it's been a crazy week. I mean, you asked me before about how my week's been. I feel like it's been very busy, but I can't tell you what I've done.
Well,
right?
I will say one thing that's been crazy about it, and that is Prince Philip dying.
I'll be honest though, mate. Like, I'm all for the royal family. Like, a guy has died here, and you know that's very sad. Doesn't matter who you are, death's not a nice thing, right? Unless, of course, you're Hitler. But when it comes to Prince Philip, like, it was weird for me because I was in work at the time, and when we found out the news, someone in my office said, "Oh, does this mean we're going to get another bank holiday?" And I thought to myself, like, I'm sorry, what? Like, it's not, I didn't even think of that shit. Like, why? Like, a fucking geezer's died here. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, we wouldn't get a bank holiday because it was the Queen's husband, yeah. Like, if the Queen dies, it might be a bank holiday.
Yeah, of course.
We're in a period of mourning in the UK, like national mourning. You know, just to celebrate and appreciate his life.
Yeah, man. Like,
I agree with that.
He did a lot of shit.
He did a lot. I don't know about you, but I know he started the Duke of Edinburgh award. And obviously Prince Philip was the Duke of Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And it's a award that he set up to help promote youth and building your own skills outside of the city, outside of the towns. Like, survival skills, essentially. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to take part in that.
I never looked into it. I don't know why I didn't do it. I mean, it was a great scheme.
Yeah, it definitely is a great scheme. I think places are limited. I know people who were on it. I just remember them saying that they got very muddy. Well,
think about this as a stat. At any one time, there are 300,000 kids doing it. At any one time.
Crazy.
Throughout the year. Like, any one time. Fucking insane.
Except this last year.
Oh, well, I mean, to be fair, like, there might be alternatives they can do. A lot of it's about charity work, right?
Definitely.
The last year has been an opportune time for charity because people are on their knees here, like, you know, things are shit. But what I wanted to say is, like, it's peculiar, right? Because obviously there's been several times where Prince Philip has been hospitalised, and it's been a relief that he's come out okay.
And the recent one was just before his death.
Yeah. So when it was announced, because obviously, you know, we don't have TV in this flat, okay, but of course all the scheduling gets changed. All the newsrooms have black suits and tie just ready in the studio, just in case it got switch out, you know, change into black clothes and then very somber tone. All of the music that's scheduled for that radio broadcast gets just scrapped, and you have to put on, like, you know, more somber music, nothing that's too upbeat. And then it's a case of how long do you do it for?
Well, until his funeral.
Oh, I suppose.
That's the period of mourning is from the announcement of his death until his funeral.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, I don't listen to radio, but do the radio stations, like, are they resuming their normal programming now?
Well, we've got a car now. We can go and find out after the podcast. Hop in, turn the key, see what's playing.
Yeah, but we have had a few beers, and you are not allowed to sit behind the wheel of a car with the engine running after a few beers. So you got to think about
I didn't say start the engine. I said just turn the key so the battery starts.
I mean, that's fair. Or we can just, I mean, like, we have a... Well, there are alternatives. But
yeah,
man, we can have a look. But I mean, the thing is, like, it's Twitter, right, is the only place that I was able to go to at the time to get a feel for how the country and how the world is reacting to this.
Do you not have BBC News on your phone?
Yeah, no, but if I want to find out what's instantly how people right this minute are feeling, I go to Twitter. Right? Just to get a generalisation. And the fucking internet's horrible, man. Like, people are pricks.
Gotcha.
People are bastards.
There have been some quality memes.
Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, but people are like, North Korea starts trending. And I'm just like, right, okay, what's going on? So I look into it, and it's because people are making similarities between, the British people are brainwashed, they're mourning over a guy they never even knew, and it's propaganda. You've got Prince Philip's picture, fucking every billboard in the UK has got his picture on, that's electronic. And I'm just thinking, like, I mean, yeah, a guy's died, and to be fair, if this happened in North Korea, would we as Brits look at it in the same way, or would we look at it as propaganda?
I believe in North Korea they have to have a picture of the leader in their homes mounted.
Now that is different.
That is very different.
Whereas
Prince Philip is someone who was omnipresent. Like, you didn't know he was there. However, the effects of his life exists. Like we said, Duke of Edinburgh Award. Apparently, he was promoting global warming way before it was even understood. Like, he was one of the first people to say, "Hey, global warming is going to be a thing." Mm-hmm. And also mass consumerism. He mentioned that, like, we're going to be so wasteful, it's going to be a problem.
But think about his life. Like, obviously, he married Elizabeth. They didn't know she was going to become queen. That's not what the lineage was.
The lineage was that. They just didn't think it would be so soon.
Well, no, it's because what's his name abdicated, and then that obviously changed the path. And then it's like, oh shit. So because George died,
this is pre World War II, you know, and they got married after World War II.
Oh yeah, and she only became queen in 52. But what I'm saying is,
no, they got married in 47.
Yeah, and she became queen in 52.
Yeah,
and what I'm saying is because she became queen, it was a case of, Philip, fuck your military plans and your career and all that shit. Okay, you just got to say goodbye to that now. You've got to serve your queen. You have to be number 2. You have to, do that. You don't have a choice anymore in what you want to do. You can't do what you want. You have to serve your queen, be there for her. And he did that. A long fucking time he did that. And this is my issue with people against the royal family. Like, if I had a choice, I would not be a royal. I want to be free. I want to be able to do what I want to do without scrutiny. And in the royal family, you have duty to your subjects. And yeah, you might have a load of money. You can't, what you're going to go and buy a fucking Bentley or whatever. Like, no, you can't just do what you want, you know?
Oh, it's like people are brought up to live a life that the parents expect them to live.
Yeah.
I watched a video recently about Johnny Boyega.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say his name properly, but the guy in Star Wars, and before the first film came out, he was on a date in Times Square or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the date's like, oh, what are you doing? What do you do for a living? And he had that key moment because he was passing a poster for the film.
Okay.
And he looks at her and in a big balls move says, why, I do that. And points to the poster of him holding the lightsaber.
Nice.
And she turned around, looks at me like, I don't want that kind of life.
Yeah, no.
And it just bottled the date.
Oh. Well, that's the thing, because it is a different life. And what I was saying before is when Philip and Elizabeth got married. Now I don't know when.
Obviously, they thought there was some time.
Well, no, but she was never meant to be queen.
Yes, she was.
No,
No,
she
not initially.
No, it's because the fucking guy, I forgot his name, abdicated,
Yeah.
which put George as king. And then obviously the war stressed him out. He died. Elizabeth's now queen. And what they wanted to do, I've not even watched The Crown, okay? You can correct me on this. But they just wanted to have a nice family life. They wanted to start a family. You got Charles, you got Anne, you got the grandkids. But of course, like, you know, fate and the world had other plans. And, like, I'm not being funny. The guy was 99 and he was still doing shit. Like,
I will correct you because they obviously, by the time they'd met, had the courtship and got married, that was what was going to happen.
Yeah, but I don't believe they knew she was going to be queen.
Not that early.
Yeah, of course not.
No.
So they had plans to have a house, have kids, do the family life kind of thing.
And obviously he had his ideal career in mind and what he wanted to do with his life before King George passed. And she became queen. And unfortunately, that's not something he got to do. I believe it's stated in one of the articles I read, as well as in The Crown, it's like one of his biggest regrets not being able to stay in the Navy.
Oh yeah, but it's not. He had no choice, and that's the thing, right? That's what you and me, the subjects, like. We have the freedom, to do what we want to do. You know, I mean, everyone's born in different financial backgrounds, but within reason, you know, with the right combination of, you know, work ethic, time, a little bit of luck, and obviously you know, making the right moves, you can do what you want to do, you know?
It's like you can be envious at how much wealth the royal family has, but you also have to remember how much work that they have to put in themselves to maintain themselves as a international figure. Because let's be honest, they're not just national, they are international.
Well, the whole point of the family at the moment is just to be a like a model family, right? It's meant to be something that they represent what the average British family should want to be, you know, in terms of values and charity work and all that, and you know, keeping up appearances and all that.
Debatable at best, if you ask me.
That is their purpose, though. That is actually what they're meant. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, they've just been steered in a way to kind of like guide the country without saying, no, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they respect what the public wishes.
Well, here's the thing. People, especially people overseas, oh, she's got no power. What's she going to do? She doesn't really rule the country. Like, what's the point? Are you taking the piss? If she actually had power to rule the country, which she can claim back if she fancies. If she's fuck it, yeah, I fancy, yeah, fuck you, and the government can fuck off, right? Yeah, no, the people will be pissed off about that. So what do you want her to do? Like, oh, she's not got any power. All right, yeah, and if she had power, you'd be complaining that it's fucking dictatorship. Yeah.
Pretty
so
much.
what do you want, man? Like,
this brings back the comparison between North Korea.
She's 94 years old, man. I think.
Yeah.
Is she 94?
I don't know.
I think she's 94 or 95. I think.
She's old. She's old.
Like, my grandma's not that old. She's retired. She didn't have to do anything.
But again,
Queen's got to do stuff.
This brings back the comparison between North Korea and us. We do have a monarchy, but it's a constitutional monarchy. So everything that they do essentially they can't just go and do their own shit while we have to do something else. They still have to follow the rules more or less. Whereas in North Korea, Mr. Kim Jong-un is just like, yeah, we're gonna build a nuke, and you're all gonna respect me building a nuke, and we're also gonna have a massive military. You are all conscripted into the military from 10. You start on the farms and you work your way up to the South Korean border and having stirring contests.
Fucking hell. I like how... So when you said work your way up, I was thinking like in terms of a career, but you're talking about in terms of fucking geographical location.
Yeah.
You will move forward. You will advance. Oh shit.
Well, that's communism, isn't it? They're a communist country. So you don't gain wealth. That's not what communism's about. You develop yourself, and the state recognizes those developments. And if you can show that you are worthy, like you've earned it, the state will give you a bit more.
Well, here's the thing. Like, to me, like, obviously we're very capitalist. It's all about, oh, you need to make money, you need to make money, you need to make money. But surely, like, having good values and being a good person is better than having loads of money. Like, surely that's better.
It is funny. Have you seen the monopoly problem that the US had back in the early 1900s?
Oh no, not in the 1900s.
They had massive monopolies. So like one company controlled all the oil, one company controlled all the railways, and they had the power to dictate the price because no one else was there. And if someone else propped up and offered cheaper gas, the other company would just lower their prices below theirs, even if it was at a loss, until they went bust, and then would put the prices back up.
That's so bad.
So the government got involved, broke up the monopolies, and they were like, they're just profiteering dicks. They just want to make the most amount of profit as possible. And the irony to it is, towards the later lives, these men that had built these monopolies were really charitable with the money.
Yeah.
Because it got to a point where it's like, oh, I don't need it. I have so much money, I do not need it.
It changes your mindset, genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, the royal family, for example, they have servants, they don't have to worry about stuff. They don't have to worry about, oh, I need to do a big shop today, I need to cook my meals for the week. You know the basic level shit that the average guy has to deal with, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about that. So, of course, with that off their minds, it's a case of, okay, so what do I need to worry about? Oh, the bigger picture. Oh, there's a lot of plastic in the ocean. There's a lot of, gas in the air. We need to fix this. Why is this person homeless? They have the time to focus on the bigger shit that you and me haven't got time to deal with because we're too involved in our own lives.
Talking about bigger shit and being self-involved, hospitality is reopening tomorrow.
Oh,
as well as many other parts of the economy.
Have a beer, man. Come on.
Yeah,
we need to celebrate.
We'll get the next beer in.
Fantastic, and I'm not gonna run this upside down.
You're not gonna spill it everywhere.
Nah, man, no. It's a good moment. You remember we had Dave a couple of weeks ago, right? He works in hospitality. He's been furloughed most of like this pandemic. Well, he used to work in hospitality. He's
got a new job, hasn't he?
Yeah, man. What a fucking guy. He's got a new job. But I mean, like, that's what he was doing for a long time. So of course, and so do you. Like, I've been lucky. I work in an office. I work in IT. I work in marketing. I've been all right. But obviously, the hospitality industry's been completely fucked. And I'm really, really... Hey! Oh, man. Yeah, no, that's going to stain. So currently, Kris is trying to deal with the corona. Actually, yeah, you handled that not too bad, actually.
The difference being, I didn't tip it upside down. It just decided to go, nah, it's your turn.
Hey, love to see it. But no, so like I'm excited. But I'll be honest with you, mate. So what is it? Monday, April 12th.
April 12th. Hospitality.
We're already halfway through April, nearly. What the?
Yeah,
fuck?
man.
Shit, the year's going too quick. Anyway, like, so I'm excited for it. But if I'm honest to you, mate, I've not been waiting. I've not had this date on my diary. I've not been thinking, oh shit, I can't wait for. If I'm honest to you, I don't even know what's opening tomorrow. I don't even know what's going on. I've not looked at it.
In all fairness, the date on my diary is when the restaurant I work at reopens, and that's still got another month yet, at the very least. So I'm not. This date doesn't affect me. However, I know a lot of people are excited for it.
Oh,
for example, my sister, she's going back to work.
Nice.
They where she works, they've got a load of tables extra, so they can set up outside? A massive beer garden. Yeah. They have a big car park for a bar. Surprisingly,
I've been seeing that a lot, like big marquees, canapes, marquees, like car park. Fuck the car park. Like, we need to get some bevs. We need to get like tables, and I think it's quite nice. I mean, the weather's a bit mental right now. That's fine. Like, give it a month.
One day it's nice and warm. The next day it's fucking snowing.
I mean, Texas was like that. I know I keep going on about Texas on this podcast, but when I was there last February, like a year ago, genuinely 30 degrees, and then the day after it was like snowing. Mental. What the fuck?
It is what it is. It's like when we were at my uncle's yesterday because he was doing an engine check on the car, We got there. It was still sunny. It was quite bright. And by the time we were leaving, there was snow falling. It's like, what the fuck, man?
I mean, the snow.
I don't want to drive in this.
The snow cleared up.
Yeah,
but obviously, like, so I've got friends back home, and like they post on the WhatsApp, you know, oh god, no, not looking forward to this. Like snow, pictures of actual snow setting, and it's just like just mental. I was sat out in a field drinking a few days ago. Like it was lovely. It was warm weather.
Yeah, like
wonderful.
Not just you. I was doing it as well.
Yeah, man.
We had a good few days of hot, sunny weather. And now the temperature's gone straight back down again. And I'm having to get the heater back out. It's really frustrating because I want to stop paying for the fucking heating. And I'm having to keep putting more water in for it.
Well, here's the thing, right? So our flat's got underfloor heating.
Yeah.
Mate, if you want me to get your underfloor heating sorted, like, I just need to send an email. Like, we can look into it.
It's not about my room. It's about the flat in general. Like,
the flat's fine.
It's
fucking 24 degrees in here, man.
That's because you've been cooking. But I want to turn off the heating full stop, and I keep having to turn it back on.
You got the same issue as my mother, right? So
yeah, except your mother will just be like, nah.
She's like, it's April, it's spring/summer. We don't need the heating on. I'm like, mate, it's fucking cold. I don't give a shit I don't care what the season is. If it's cold, I want to be warm. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? It's like saying, I shouldn't have wellies on because, like, it's. I can't think of it. Fucking.
It's not autumn. It's not muddy outside.
It's not muddy outside, but I mean, it might be.
I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. And I acknowledge it's cold and I turn it back on. But it's annoying because it's like, it should be warmer than it is. Because we're still hitting 0.
Here's the thing, right? If you're in the royal family, you don't give a shit about this. Like, we're spending so much energy thinking about all the fucking heating and the bills and shit. But like, they don't have to worry about that. So they worry about bigger shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that like, obviously that's what you want to do.
That's basically where they are in the world.
It's not just about being like, oh, I want to just have loads of holidays and fucking buy loads of Balvenie all the time. Like, it's not about that. It's about just having that financial freedom.
You know what's
which
weird?
Would be nice, to be fair.
Just over 100 years ago, monarchies were the norm. Like, pretty much every nation had a monarchy.
Oh, yeah.
And now, there's very few.
Well, I mean, like, Prince Philip, like, his family, obviously, in Corfu.
Yeah.
I don't know much about, like, Greek history in terms of, like, recent Greek history, but wasn't there, like, an uprising or something, and didn't Greece kick out the royal family? Is that why the Mountbatten family ended up in the UK and Scotland? Is that why?
I believe Mountbatten was an adopted name when they ended up in the UK, but you're not wrong. They were kind of ran out of Greece.
That's mental.
Because they decided, you know what, we don't need a royal family.
Mm-hmm.
And basically this was the rise of democratization within European society. So obviously the US had it for ages.
Well, it was built on that. The reason the US was even a thing is because people were bored of, well, obviously the monarchy, but also, was it the Catholic? No, not
no.
Catholic?
I don't think it was that. I think it was being taxed so much, but they weren't represented in Parliament because they were a colony.
I love that. So it's like, oh, we're being taxed so much. Fuck you, we're going to go our own way. Oh, wait, we need taxes to function as a country. And now they've got their own taxes.
And I would argue American taxes are worse than British taxes.
100%. You know what? Taxes. Obviously, the only two things in life that are certain are death and taxes. But I hear a lot of people going on about how Dubai, it's like 5% tax or it's no percent tax or whatever. That's only because they got a fuckload of oil money.
Yeah.
As soon as that dries up, you're going to get taxed, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Of course you are. Like, fuck me. Like,
it's not like the UK doesn't have oil. It's just that
we buy it from Dubai.
We buy most of it from overseas, yeah. And also, we have quite high tax rate. We have a lot of VAT on things, but other countries don't.
Well, it's mental because it's like, okay, so you buy a car, you got to pay tax on that.
Yeah.
And then of course you buy fuel, there's tax on that. You got to pay tax on tax on tax. And it's a lot of money, man. Where does it go? And I just wish that it was being spent better. And I'm not saying that there's not things in place to public spending of public money has to be done properly, and because it's public, there's a lot of fucking protocols and shit. But I mean, I'm still seeing potholes, and I'm still seeing just the usual bullshit that people complain about in like the suburbs.
That's never going to change.
Oh, the bins in that getting taken out. Oh, fucking all that shit.
I will say that's one thing I do like about living in the city, in an apartment, is you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, mate, I don't even know what day the bins are taken out.
No.
My mum lives for her bins being taken out. She's looking out the bathroom window, just like through the blinds, like peeking through, like, oh, are they taking them? They've not been yet. And then she's on the phone the next day to the woman, being like, oh, they're not taking the bins out. I don't have to worry about that shit.
No, we literally...
The building worries about that shit. I love it, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having a garden, though, to be fair.
Same. It would have been nice if we got a balcony apartment. So then we could have set it up.
Well, there's a reason why they were all taken up when we moved into this place.
Well, obviously people
We got bottom of the barrel. Literally bottom of the ground floor as well.
Yeah.
So, but we got a good deal in it, so it's all right.
Definitely.
I like this place, man. You know, we were on Google Street View last night. We had the whiskey open. When I drink whiskey, obviously, it's my night. I'm doing my thing. I'm listening to some videos from bands playing live gigs, because obviously I miss going to gigs and stuff. And then for some reason last night we started looking at Street View. And what's really cool about Google Street View is you can dial back the year. There's a little arrow you can click, and you can look at the Street View from like 10, 12 years ago.
I didn't know it did that. I was surprised when you turned back the Street View for this place.
It's sick, isn't it?
And it was like, what the actual fuck?
You go back 4 years at least, and then it just becomes, this place is a field.
Yeah.
So weird. Like,
and also the
the
uni building.
Yeah. And a lot of the skyscrapers in Manchester are quite new as well, like within 5 years.
I think the only one that still existed where we were checking, so we went to Deansgate Square and had a look there. The only thing you could see was the Hilton, Beetham Tower.
Yeah, Beetham Tower's all you could see.
And then you're skipping through it and you can see like the groundwork being laid for Deansgate Square. Mm-hmm. And then they turn it into a car park because of the financial crash.
Yeah.
And then they have a couple of years in between. And then suddenly there's some massive towers.
Yeah.
And then when you skip to when the towers are complete, there's another set of apartments being built on the left and it blocks out most of the view.
Mm-hmm. It's mental. Imagine buying a flat in Beetham Tower. You're in there, sick. You've got no other skyscrapers near you. You've got the best view. And then a load of bastard towers just get built and then you can't see. It blocks your view. I mean, I like looking at towers.
Yeah.
It would be kind of cool. But I mean, like...
I think...
Media City, the X1 buildings?
I do.
Like, if you're living in one of those flats, your view is literally just the building next to you.
Yeah.
And that's shit.
That's like New York living.
What's the point in that? Like, you're not getting any of the view, the marina... Obviously, Manchester in the distance. You're not getting the sky. You're not getting nothing, man.
See, I believe the building we're in is 5 floors, including the ground floor. And we're the tallest building around.
Yeah.
Got a nice little garden. All the buildings around are 3 floors or 2 floors. So we are the tallest building in this specific area.
Yeah. So
and as you go out a bit more, you get some more that go up to 5 and then they go down. Mm-hmm. And then when you get further out, there's a couple of like massive office blocks. Yeah. And if you go the other way, you get the city and you get all the tall skyscrapers.
Even my work building where I work, like you dial back 3 years and it's a car park. It's so strange, man.
It just shows how much Manchester's growing.
It is growing, and it's good to see because obviously the foundations were laid before the financial crash in 2008. And obviously that put a hold on lots of stuff. It took a good 5-6 years before work could begin again because obviously people had to get their money together. But you know what's weird? So like house viewings, you said Saturday morning. I'm taking the piss with your car. I'm doing errands and all that shit. Yeah,
you were. We had plans to go earlier in the day to go up to my mum's. And see some puppies.
Yeah, and give you some driving experience.
Yeah, and give me driving experience.
Oh shit, yeah, she's had puppies. So let's hear about that.
I thought we'd be setting off like, at first I thought you'd get back 12:1. Then you said you're having lunch with your mum. It's like, okay, you're having lunch with your mum, fair enough.
And then I was going getting whiskey for an hour.
2.
And then,
and then next thing I know, it's pushing 5 o'clock and you're like, I'm here.
Hi.
I'm sat in the flat like, you fucking bastard.
You paid for this car and I'm taking it for a ride, literally.
Literally, on our WhatsApp group, you announced I had a car before I'd even seen it personally. You were at your mum's, you took a picture, I was like, I've got Chris's new car. I'm like, you fucking son of a bitch. Surely I'm meant to be the one announcing the new car.
You never got to, like, that is a life first. It's a big moment when you get a car, and I took that from you. And
You
I
did
not even realise I was doing that at the time, but I will stand with it.
No, you're just a fucking dick.
Love
usual.
Love it. Love to see it. But yeah, like, deal with it. There was another point I wanted to make, actually, so... Oh, fuck, but I forgot what it was. Well, no, what were we on? We were talking about...
Puppies.
No. Before the puppies, it was... Yeah. So
Taking the piss.
Well, I do that anyway. Okay. Whilst I have a think, talk about the puppies.
So, my mum's bitch had a load of puppies.
Why do they call them bitches?
I don't know.
You know what I didn't realise? Dog is the guy, bitch is the girl.
Yeah.
But obviously, bitch is a swear word in human language. So we call guys and girl dogs.
Yeah,
They're
doggos.
fucking dogs, yeah.
Doggos. I like to call them poopers because there's shit everywhere.
Oh, yeah, puppers or poopers as they are more accurately named. You know what? I've never seen a dog's or a bitch's litter before.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen that.
They were only a few days old.
Yeah. Literally, 3 days. 3 days, man. They were born Thursday. We saw them on Saturday.
I don't want to disclose how old they were, but thank you for that.
Not that it matters. I mean,
people can...
They've not even got names yet.
No, they've not. They've got coloured collars, and that's how they...
It reminds me of 101 Dalmatians. Ever seen that?
I have.
Because the only way that they could distinguish in that film the different characters was just by the colour of the collar. Because obviously, it's 101 Dalmatians, man. It's a lot of dogs.
I mean, I was told my sister named one of them.
All right.
But I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to.
This is when my mate talks about how, on the podcast you say you talk about a lot of stuff and then you're like, oh no, we can't talk about that. Just say it. What's the name?
Oh, my sister's obsessed with fucking Friends. So
Okay.
she's named it after one of the characters. More accurately, after the actor of one of the characters.
Okay.
Just because it was the first one born.
How you doing?
How
That guy.
you doing? No,
Was it
it wasn't Joey.
I don't even watch Friends.
It was Monica.
I don't know who that is.
Lol.
I just don't watch stuff. But you know what's cool? Oh fuck. What's that? I think it was a Netflix 2-season sitcom, right?
Right.
And it starred Matt LeBlanc.
And
it's about
which one.
These two British writers who went to America to produce this like show, and obviously America fucked it as they usually do. Office. Office is alright actually.
There is a massive difference in production
scripted?
style. I'm having a look now.
Scripted, I think, is it?
It might be. I thought that as well, to be fair. Episodes. It's called Episodes.
Oh, that's a good show, man. That is a good show.
I enjoyed it.
I watched it with my old housemate, and it's a fucking sick show. I loved it.
You recommended it to me.
Yeah, man.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
It's a good show. I think it was 2 seasons, and you know what's funny? I've just realised, right? When we set up the microphones for this podcast, you were like, Marcus, last week you slouched quite a lot. Set up the microphones so that you don't slouch, or if you do slouch, it's not a problem. And I'm slouching right now, and I'm looking at the mic thinking, that mic is a lot further away than it used to be.
Lol.
So I don't know.
I'm gonna check Audacity now and have a look, and I'm gonna let you start talking.
Well, obviously the people listening will know how my voice sounds, but yeah, man, it's just
you slouch away from the microphone.
We're doing this in our living room.
Yeah,
living room it's a lounge. You're supposed to lounge in the living room. You're gonna be comfortable. You know.
The problem is we set it up at the start, so we're in the right place where we want to be, where our ideal place is.
Yeah, but you're having to sit up.
I like sitting up.
I'm just chilling out.
I like sitting up.
I mean, it's good for your posture, but I mean, you know.
But when we start, you set it up for when you start, and then you slouch in, and you get further away from the microphone.
Yeah.
And looking back at it, it's like, well, either I've got to keep an eye on that and turn up the gain, or I've just got to tell him,
fucking sit up.
set it up so that you're in the right place. I was saying get closer to the table so that when you do start slouching, the mic's more or less in the same place.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm one of those guys who will sit in the most weird positions sometimes. You know those memes where it's a guy sat at a computer and it's like, oh, I don't know why I've got a back problem, but then it cuts to a picture of the guy and he's literally sat on his head, like his neck's bent round in like a 180-degree turn, and he's just kind of like,
well, you know what,
twisted in a weird way.
When I first got in the car, because obviously you've been driving it in the morning, did you change the seat at all?
I think I changed it a little bit when I first sat in it, because obviously you want to get, you want to be the right distance from the pedals and all that kind of stuff.
Now, I quite like to be up straight when I'm driving, so first thing I'm doing is I'm turning it so the back seat is up, it's straight, and then I pull it forward so I can reach the pedals.
Yeah.
So it's not too awkward. As soon as my mum got in, who's shorter than me, she sat in it and went, holy hell, this is so close. I'm going to move the seat back.
She's shorter than you, and she thought it was too close.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, well, this is where I'm comfortable. Because I'm up straight. I'm basically sat how I would sit normally.
When she drove it, what were her arms like stretched out straight? Were they like straight on the wheel? No? I believe that's how you're supposed to have it.
Well, like that. Just driving.
Well, no, like you're just driving, with your arms stretched out at a comfortable distance.
Yeah, a comfortable distance.
Not like scrunched up like this. Like, you need to be able to like move and do stuff. You know
what?
You don't want your elbows to get in the way of the twisting of the arms on the wheel.
After this podcast, we're going to go back to that car and we're going to test it.
Okay.
And see how it is.
Yeah. All right. I think I'll be all right with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't think I'm like this. I shouldn't be like this. My arms are still coming forward. They're not scrunched up. They're still forward.
Seating position is important. Like, although saying that, I'm guessing
I see you complaining about your back so much that I'm thinking about that when I'm setting up a car seat.
That's fair. I appreciate. Well, for you or for me?
For me.
Oh, fuck
and
you.
Then obviously you're going to sit in that seat and just accept this is where the seat is.
Yeah.
Which is better for you.
Yeah.
By proxy.
Well, the thing is, right, I don't know how your driving instructor, like in his car, I don't know how you drive that. I don't know how you sit, like, with that. But obviously, if you were sitting in a bad way, he would tell you, I would assume. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what you want to assume. He wants to say, hey, you sat in a bad way. Either you can't see the mirrors properly, you can't see the road properly. If I'm having to set the mirror so it's starting to face down so I can see out the back window, you'd probably say to me, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, how's he doing in lockdown and all that? Obviously, you've not been doing this.
He's had a much worse lockdown, downs, plural, than I have.
Really?
He has had COVID, personally.
Fuck.
I believe his father died of it as well. And his whole family had to go into isolation because of it.
Yeah. It's awful, that.
Obviously, his family is much bigger than a typical family.
Yeah.
So there was it took a lot longer for him to get through COVID and to recover from it. And then he just took an extra week off work as well because he was just so exhausted.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I think this is the biggest thing I've heard from COVID is if you catch it and survive, the exhaustion you feel afterward is just...
Yeah.
It's too much. Like, you need more time.
I've heard that. But I mean, not just that. Like, if he's lost loved ones, like, that takes it out of you as well. Like, your reality is a bit like...
Yeah. I've personally been very fortunate to not have anyone within my family or friends catch COVID or have anyone affected by it.
Same, really. I've got friends who've been affected, but I mean, they're quite young, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, shit, man.
It
reminds you there's a pandemic on for like.
I think you're saying some of Dave's family has had it, but he's not.
Yeah, no, he's been okay. But I've got friends at work as well who've been working at home, but even though they've been working at home, they've still had it anyway. They live in house shares, they've got flatmates, all that kind of thing,
Yeah, it's amazing how easy it is to catch disease.
Yeah.
For example, even going to your graduation, if there's one person with a cold, they're going to spread that to at least 5 or 10 people.
We were watching filmed footage from gigs from a year and a half ago. The Chats, O2 Ritz, Manchester. We were at that gig and we were watching video footage last night of a mosh pit happening on that night. This is 2019 December, but it looks strange now looking at that because it's like so much disease, man. Although in saying that, like I reckon less than 5% of people who went to that gig probably came out with a cold or something.
Yeah, but that's the thing. 5% came out with a cold.
I mean,
But
I'm plucking out the figure from my ass. I don't know, like.
That's what you found weird. The thing I found weird is we looked at American equivalent afterward, and the crowd was so somber.
Yeah, American crowds aren't fun, man.
No, like I would argue the Chats and most other bands have more fun in a UK venue, especially smaller ones if you're a small band, than American ones.
Yeah.
I was looking at that crowd. It's like obviously they are there to see the Chats, but
that's it. They've all
when
decided.
you compare their reaction to the Chats coming on compared to a British reaction, it was like, holy shit,
it's
you
fucking
boring
rubbish.
fucks.
I know. Honestly, like I want to go to see some like EDM artists, like DJs and so on, in America because that's where they tour mostly. I want to go and do that. I don't care for my own. I'm going to go and do it. Fuck it. But if the crowd's not good, I'm going to be on my own, man, and it's going to be like.
It'll bring the whole experience down.
I think it will. Yeah, I've not thought about that recently. I mean, shit.
I mean, it depends what kind of crowd you want as well.
I mean,
it's something we were discussing yesterday. Like we saw the mosh pit at the front, and it was like, oh, we should have got into that. I went like, nah, fuck that. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, you can enjoy it from a distance.
Yeah, you can enjoy it from a distance, and they're all pushing and shoving each other, and it's fun in the moment. But I'm there to enjoy the music and have a couple of drinks.
Yeah, man.
And that's what I'm there for. I appreciate the front of the crowd. I'm a back of the crowd guy.
Fair enough, yeah. I mean, as long as you enjoy the night, that's what you're paying for. Have you got any more beer?
This is my last one, sir.
Nada. Are you out?
I'm out.
Well, this week we're doing an extended show.
We are going to push and trial 90 minutes.
Well, so far we're up to... Well, we've got just less than 23 minutes left before the alarm goes off. That shits me up every week, right?
All right.
So what is that, like 1 hour 7 minutes, 1 minute 7 minutes 10 seconds? I think we're up to right now.
We've got about 20 minutes left.
Something like that. Yeah. So
at this point, we would have had the bell.
Yeah.
We would be hitting the limit for the extended show.
Yeah, and then I'd be trying to chat shit just to
extend it, just to get it
just to get under your skin about
end.
it. Yeah. And then obviously you'd be like, nah, I'm gonna cut this.
So here's a question I'm gonna ask you right now.
Okay.
Is 90 minutes the cut mark, or do we have a little extension and then cut it?
To me, it depends on what's being talked about. It depends on the conversation.
We have that wind out that we want to do.
It depends, like, I don't know, like what the energy is. You know, you can't just set rules like that. You gotta see how it feels.
Yeah.
You know,
because obviously the original idea was the podcast is a hard 1 hour. You know, when you get into it, it is an hour.
Yeah.
Give or take. Normally giving a couple of minutes, and then you were constantly trying to extend it, and it was pissing me off so much because I'm trying to edit the podcast.
You're trying to round it out, and I'm trying to have a nice conversation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to chat to you.
Like you,
but I wait until like the last.
Yeah, and I would get to a point where I'm ready to finish. You're like, but, and you extend with bullshit, nothing conversation.
Love it, man.
It's such a ball ache.
Yeah, but isn't that what this podcast is?
Yeah, for the first hour.
Yeah.
After that hour mark, it's like you have to respect that this is the end.
No, man. You can never end a good thing. You can never end a good thing.
Except a beer.
I mean, it was a very good thing. Look, Corona was a good choice today.
It was nice.
I do feel like I'd like another one.
I might go grab some more. It's only a couple of seconds up there, and you might hear it on the mic.
I mean, the thing is, right, we've got 20 minutes left. I don't want to be hungover tomorrow. Beer, right, in terms of hangover-ness, I'm talking wine at the top, then it's beer, right? I don't know if lager or ale is more hangover. I don't know if it matters which you have. It depends on the person, right?
It does.
But genuinely, mate, we were drinking that whiskey last night. I only had about...
I only had one serve.
I probably had about between 100 and 150 mils worth of whiskey last night. Decent amount.
Well, you were pouring doubles each time, weren't you?
Yeah, man. But I only had like 2 or 3, so...
Well, 2 or 3 is 2 or 3 drinks.
Yeah, but in terms of the milliliter volume, that's
Yeah.
like between 100 and 150.
It
so,
is.
like,
It is.
Thank you. So I don't feel. I had a lion today.
Obviously, you wouldn't feel that anyway. It's not too much.
Yeah, but I felt it when I was having it. I felt great, man.
Yeah.
I was emotional. I was watching. So I was watching. What was I watching? The 1975 live at the O2, not the O2 Ritz Manchester, the O2, right? And it was amazing because there was so much emotion. And it's a band that I could have seen live at Leeds when I went to that. The one festival that I went to was Leeds Festival. I seen this last night, and they were there.
Well, we were talking about potential festivals to go to.
Yeah, but they were there. I didn't go and see them, man. And you know what's annoying, right? I'll let you open your beer. The problem with when you go to a festival, you are witnessing a band in their present moment. So, for context, I have only been to one festival in my life. I went to Leeds Festival in 2014. Amazing festival, great lineup. Headliners were Paramore on one of the nights, Arctic Monkeys on a different night, Blink-182 on a different night. And the 1975 were playing at a different stage, but they were at that festival. Now, 2014, they'd only released what is, to my mind, their best album, their first album. Of course, they're only going to play that music. Whereas if they were doing a gig today, they'd be playing shit from their second, third, fourth, maybe a little bit sprinkled of their first, right? It wouldn't be it wouldn't be dedicated to one album. Yeah, exactly, because they've got several. Now, that's fine, but you've got to appreciate the performance that I could have seen, but we just didn't go to that stage. I'm not going to get a chance to see that ever.
This kind of goes back to the conversation about lottery.
Literally, I will never get to go to that performance.
You were there and you missed it. The same with having the right numbers but changing them for that week.
Yeah. So my uncle.
Yeah.
He always tells me how he could have won the lottery. He changed his numbers. It's one of those where your numbers are the birthdays of your kids and your family. For some reason, he changed it for that week. And everyone knows someone who's done that shit. Everyone does, you know?
If you could only gamble one thing for the rest of your life, you could only do scratch cards, you could only bet on the lottery, you could only do football for a certain team, you could only bet on this certain F1 team, what would be your specific go-to?
Well, do stocks count?
No.
Okay, because that is a calculated risk, to be fair.
Yeah.
Shit. I don't really find we had the Grand National this week.
We did. I didn't even know it was the Grand National.
I didn't even know. I had no clue.
My mum's we're just watching the Grand National. It's oh, is that on this week? It's it's on right now.
It's literally now.
What is on TV at this moment is the Grand National.
You've served drinks at Aintree. You've been you've done all that shit. I've never been to Aintree before. Us and our mates, we've always talked about doing Aintree, doing the suiting and all that shit. But obviously, we haven't. Now your mum, she had a few bets on, but they were £5-10 here and there. It's not a crazy amount of money. I've done bets where it's been a significant amount of my money, and it's been a bit crazy. Now, if you're questioning me as to what the one bet I would do for the rest of my life would be,
one team you would bet on, one would you do the lottery and that would be it?
Look,
would you do scratch cards and that would be it?
Right. So if it's a team, you could football, whatever, or even ice hockey, you can say, Manchester Storm, right?
Yeah.
Bet on them. But of course, the team over the years changes because different players, different competition. It's never consistent. Man United is not what it was back in the 90s.
But I'm not saying you have to bet for that team. You could bet against them.
That's true. Well, Sheffield Wednesday are a bit shit, but they fucking scored 5-0 recently, according to a mate. So the reason why I mention that is because I don't watch football, but a mate of mine loves Sheffield Wednesday. And it's weird because they're not a massive team. They're actually quite hard to support, apparently. But weirdly enough, right, I've not been to many football games live in stadiums, but the first football game that I went to was Sheffield Wednesday. Because at the time I had family in Sheffield. I was about 8 years old, and they were like, "Oh, Marcus, we'll take you to your first game." Yeah. And I was like, oh, sound, that'd be sick. Oh, shit. Here we
There
go.
it goes again. Oh, God. He fucking went for that one. Like a horny gay guy. He started sucking hard.
Can you say that or can you not? I don't know.
It's our podcast.
To be fair, right, I know a lot of people who are that way inclined and they call things gay all the time. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, it is. I mean, like, I'm literally soaking wet in just white stuff. So I don't like. Oh, fuck it. How the fuck? This never happened.
You do it too fast.
No, this didn't. Like with this one, Jesus Christ. Oh fuck! It's in my eyes. Oh.
Again. Jeez.
So
no, I would say you did it too fast.
Yeah, but
when I do it nice and slow.
I thought, oh, if I don't let the lime go to the top of the bottle, then there'll be less pressure built up, right?
Right.
So I let the lime go to a third of the bottle, and then I stopped and I turned it back the right way up.
Well, the thing is, you're still shaking it up.
Yeah, but not as long.
I'm going to do it now, but I've got... Obviously, I've had a bit of drink for it. I would do it like this.
Okay.
Nice and slow.
Lime
goes to the top.
The lime goes straight away. My lime takes ages to go to the top.
This is a bit of a small slice, so it's not actually the size of the wedge.
Okay.
Once it gets through that, it's fine. Then I would also nice and slowly pull it back. Now, from what I saw from you, you just whipped it one way.
Oh, did I
and
move
then whipped it back?
Ah. So what you're saying is...
And you just saw all that pressure build up.
Right, to be fair, your drink is less than mine.
Yeah.
Right?
But even if I do this now...
Fucking hell. Is it because you're moving it slower?
Yeah. You're not giving the time or the carbonization time to shake, because that builds up the pressure.
Well, all I'm saying is I smell like a brewery right now. Like, did it go on the ceiling?
I hope not.
Because my eyes were closed, right? I was trying to protect my vision. But when it popped, I could feel it go up, and then I could hear a few seconds later the beer fall on the floor, like the pitter-patter of like rain outside, right?
Wow.
So it had definitely been up in the air for some time. And I'm looking over there at the TV stand, which is...
Holy shit, I can see it.
It's a metre away from where I'm sat, and yet you can see spots where the beer's been. Like,
what is wrong with you, man? Why do you keep doing this?
We've got a full case of these fuckers. Like,
not anymore. We've drank 2/3 of it.
Good. We need to get through it. I'm not doing this next week. This is shit. Like, it's actually dangerous.
I reckon we should go back on the can so you can't fucking turn them over and get it everywhere.
Well, if we don't, I reckon we should start a video podcast. My eyelids are sticky. Like, and my hands are sticky. I want to have a bath.
Now you know
this.
what a woman feels like when she has to clean up.
That's just hugely inappropriate.
It is. But it's funny and it's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like you hear a lot of stick. Like, obviously that joke kind of gives you an idea of the kind of people we can be. But it's not in a way to be menacing to that community. It's like,
it's a weird thing, right?
You're gonna suck a dick. That's just fact.
I want to get that printed on a wall in a frame.
If you're gay, you're gonna suck a dick.
Quote Christian 2K21.
But the thing is, that's not a bad thing at all.
At least you're getting some shit. We've had no one back to this flat since we moved here.
No,
like genuinely, and like we're two guys. We're both in our mid-20s. Yeah,
both straight.
To be fair, there is good point. To be fair, like there is a pandemic on, but I mean, like, I don't know. We're quite chilled. We're not really like after anything as such.
Well, I have been trying to use dating apps a little bit during lockdown. Probably not as much as you, but I've tried a few.
Yeah, of course. Well, you got to do it.
I got a couple of dates out of it, but the dates never went anywhere.
At least better than nothing.
And it got to a point where I'm messaging people. I think the one that I like to use most is Hinge. And obviously Hinge has prompts that you can use to start a conversation.
Yeah, rather than just pictures, it's actual like taglines that you can...
I fucking love that. I think this is a great way to have a dating service. It gives you something to talk about to get the conversation rolling. You don't have to think of a cheesy pickup line. So I will try and use the prompts that are left there to start a conversation. And they don't reply. They just accept that I did the prompt and they acknowledge it and invite you to chat. It's like, well, I just made a statement from your prompt to invite a conversation and you've not said anything. Not even like a ha ha ha, that's funny.
So it's just like you've got it.
It's like I've got to start the conversation twice.
Oh, fuck, I just slipped on the chair. Shit. So with regards like comparing virtual dating apps to real life scenario, right? Imagine gorgeous girl sat at the bar. You're infatuated. You're like, oh my God, she's amazing. I need to go and speak to her, right? Have you felt that about people that you've seen in real life before? Like, oh my God, they are so beautiful. I just need to speak to them. I need to do something.
I've had a fair few experiences along those lines.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't say it.
I mean, you don't have to have had spoken to them. I've had several instances where I've seen someone from across the way and I've been like, wow.
Oh no!
But I've been too shy to speak.
If we're just talking about that, it's much more.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is I've seen them and a move has been made.
Okay. Well, good man. More man than I am. Because if it were me, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, I'm too shy. But I will admire from a distance. Like, they are beautiful, but I just can't, like, I'm just too scared. But okay, cool. So you're in a bar, you see a beautiful person, okay, man, woman, whatever the fuck, in the distance. Okay, you go over to them, you say something to them, okay, and then all they do in response is just nod and look at you. It's like, what the fuck? That's not natural. Okay?
No, it
but
really isn't.
What's happening on these dating apps is you're speaking to them, obviously virtually, right, on these dating apps. They acknowledge that and say, "Oh, okay," and then they tap invite Kris to start the chat. What the fuck? What the fuck do you do? Like,
I've already made the setup line.
It's fucking bullshit. Like,
I'm not doing those fucking cheesy one-liners. It's like, oh, if you were an angel, I'd want you in my bed, or whatever they fucking use.
No, it's like, oh,
I don't know any. I think they're shit. I don't like them.
It's like, do you like eating fruit? Have you tried dates?
No. Oh, you're a strawberry because you look sweet.
Oh, and then you get look, I don't have TikTok. Okay, there's a guy. Solly Ball here, and I've got a dating line for you, a few ladies, and then he's like, oh, are you a parking ticket? Because you got a fine written all over you. And it's like, I heard that on Family Guy like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's not original. Fuck you. Get back to your school tuition.
This is the
you're
thing.
You're literally 14 years old, man. What are you doing?
This is the thing.
From
my relationships that I've had, they have not been through dating apps. It's been organic. Yeah. Either I've met them through a friend, or it's just someone I've met and we've developed a relationship. And it's nice like that, because you don't have to try and put on a front, because you already know who you are as the fucking joker, as a piece of shit that you are.
Cheers.
And then as they get to know you, you show a kind of side to yourself. So
that's the thing, you open up, you're showing, like, there's a side to me that I reserve for either just myself, because I obviously you know yourself better than anyone else, or for like special people, and it's nice to be able to show that side of yourself, but you can't, you keep that closed to just yourself until you find the right person to open up to. Like, I
feel like I've been pushing the boundaries with jokes recently. Like when we've been having drinks and talking to people, I feel like I've been pushing my jokes a bit, just to see what kind of reaction I'd get.
Well, that's the thing, because everyone's different, isn't that a beautiful thing?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's different. They don't all have the same sense of humour. They might get very pissed off at the jokes you tell, but then with the controversial shit that we said earlier, they might quite like that. Yeah. Like it's like, oh, you just want to test the water and see what's going on. See what kind of
person they are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and isn't that such a beautiful thing? You can learn about the other person, and like it's a bit of a game, but
ideally in a humorous way.
Yeah,
It's something that you can say and you both laugh at.
That's what we need to.
It's
really
like
focus on doing
when you invited one of our friends to get in the oven, and I turned around and said, "They're not a Jew. Why are you asking them to get in the oven?"
Now
that is a touchy joke. That is a very touchy joke.
People have died, man.
They have. Like this is one of the This is one of the levels.
I'm not a Jew, but I'm not far off. Okay, I'm not saying anymore. Right now, that is the kind of joke that you can. I'm not going to explain as to what it is.
But the thing is, you can appreciate that it's not made in a menacing sense. It's a joke. We don't want people in the oven. That's the basis of the joke.
It was a truth or dare. We were doing some drinking games.
Yeah.
That's the reason. I got in the oven.
In the end.
Yeah, I couldn't fit. Right, it's not massive. Okay, but that's the thing. Like, some of the funniest jokes are on the side of it, like what Jimmy Carr, like back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very intelligent man, and he uses that intelligence to pluck the most non-PC like humor that he can. You know.
And I think that's like, if people can appreciate something isn't said in malice, then do it. And some people get really pissed off at that, and I don't like it. Like, you should be able to make a joke that's kind of topical, definitely. Relatable, not so much. And something that people can genuinely laugh at. And maybe it is something like what I said earlier. However, if people get a laugh from it.
I'll tell you what. I don't know if this open. I doubt this opens tomorrow. Comedy Store.
Oh.
Comedy Store is good, man. Oh. I've only been there twice. I think one was your birthday. I can't remember the other time I went.
I remember seeing a guy there. I'm not gonna.
Mate, we live like less than 15 minutes walk from that place, man. We can go.
I would argue we should go to Frog and Bucket more than anything. Personally, for personal connections.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The Frog and Bucket.
The Frog and Bucket?
Yeah.
Oh, is that where your mates are, the comedian goes? That you mentioned the other week?
It's one endorsed by the agency, yeah.
Mm. Okay, yeah.
So I would argue Comedy Store is great, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy the Comedy Store. However, Frog and Bucket has a richer history and isn't as central. Makes it more of a niche crowd.
All right, okay.
So, yeah, I'd say...
So where are they based? In town somewhere?
Yeah. In Northern Quarter.
Oh, okay, yeah. I feel like I recognise the name. I might have seen it on my travels.
Like, yeah, you might have seen it or heard it.
On drunken nights out, you know?
On the off chance.
Yeah.
But it's not something known across the country. But it is a Manchester staple.
Mm-hmm. Let's give it a go. Well, that's the thing, right? I don't know if they're opening tomorrow. I don't know what's opening tomorrow.
I mean, I hope they are.
Well, I hope so as well. But don't you feel there's a sense of, like it's going to be packed? Like, when is it going to be safe to go out? Because there's not that many people.
This is one of the things. I believe indoor hospitality, when it does reopen, won't have restrictions on capacity. You'll be able to go back to normal indoors. And I don't know how people are going to respond to that. Because personally, I would say that's great that we can go back to capacity. However, let's maybe just dial it up a bit. Maybe do 75%, 3/4. So then you're still getting more footfall, but you're not making people too uncomfortable.
Does this mean that we're coming out of lockdown?
That's the hope, isn't it? Like, the roadmap is we're at stage 1 of opening the country. Stage 2 is in May, which will be indoor hospitality. Mm-hmm. Personally, I'm hoping the legal challenge by Sasha Lord goes through before then, because obviously that legal challenge has a deadline. So if indoor hospitality opens and then they have the court case, well, what's the point in having the court case? Because hospitality's open now. Yeah,
so like, you can crack on with it, you know?
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, like, it's weird that I've not really thought about things opening up.
I think the main concern for this legal case is, what is the difference between having people inside a retail store or people being sat in a restaurant? What is the difference?
Well, I mean, off the cuff you can say what the difference is, but I mean, what's the realistic, what's the actual,
if anything,
how many cases are we going to get extra because everything's open?
If anything, I would say a bar is cleaner, safer, because in a store you've got people going
consciously
around
thinking about
touching
the
a lot of things.
Yeah.
If, say, for example, you find an item you like, it's obviously going to start from the smallest and go back to the largest. And you're going to be going through all that to get to the right size. Whereas in hospitality, you don't have that. It's like, I want a drink. All right, there you go. This is your drink. And when you finish with that drink,
it goes,
the bar collects the glass, puts it in the glass wash, and it's cleaned.
It's fucking glass wash, man.
Yeah.
So to be fair, what's the point? It's just because a lot of people congregate in, breathing in and out, all that shit. But I mean, like,
what is the difference?
What is the difference, man? It didn't make me jump as much, but I could still feel it. Like, it was still in there, you know.
You weren't too sure if it was going to happen or not.
It's because a minute ago I remembered, oh shit, my phone's on silent, I better turn it up. And obviously, in turning it up, I could see how long was left on the timer, so I knew.
Surely a timer would, like, overrule that.
I didn't want to take the risk.
Fair enough.
Let's make sure it was on.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear it on the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit, man.
That's my feeling on indoor hospitality. Let's round it out quickly today.
Yeah, I just feel that, like, we need to get hospitality back and going. Your place of business, like, needs to be open quite soon. I miss going there. It's a great night. You have a great time. You got good food, good alcohol. Of course, you've not got a massive outside terrace, so
the one thing,
you can't open that. You won't be opening tomorrow because it's not viable in terms of cost. But in a lot of places aren't as well.
Yeah, the one thing I would hope opens up sooner rather than later is nightclubs.
Yeah,
they've been closed since March last year. They've never had a chance.
They've never had a chance. It's because it's inside, and obviously the breathing and all that stuff.
And,
I mean, like,
and you expect it to get.
Well, that's the mad thing. They're all young fuckers who like. Anyone can get the virus. I get that, but the younger you are, the less likely it's to be a severe thing. That's what's mental about it. But I mean, you know, there's sound reason for debate. So, you know, I just feel like we're ready to get the country open again.
Yeah, definitely. I think people are just fed up, and it's like a common flu at the end of the day.
Well, you don't want to ruin the hard work and the sacrifice. You don't want to make that what's the word now? In vain. You know, the sacrifice people have made over the last 12 months.
I'd also like to clarify, while I say it's like a common flu, it's becoming more like a common flu in the fact that it's more likely that you're going to survive it the more vaccinations we get, and I feel like we're at the point where it would be comparable to a common flu.
Yeah, and I also want to say, like, just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you can do what you want. Like,
wear a mask.
The vaccine just means that, rather than dying, you might just be, like, a little bit sick for a few days.
Yeah.
Or rather than dying, you might just be hospitalized for one day. You know, like, it just mitigates the issue, you know.
A vaccination basically tells your body what to fight.
Yeah.
And while you might get the virus for a little bit, maybe you feel a bit queasy, unwell, your body already knows that it's a bad thing, so it's fighting it from day one, as opposed to having it in your body. Like, oh, what's this new thing? Oh, this is bad.
So if you're in a public place where you need to wear a mask, and if you're not exempt, then you should still do that. And I do wonder as to whether we'll keep wearing masks for quite a few years to come, but who knows?
Oh,
we'll see.
Time will tell. And on that note, it is time to end.
Thank you for listening. Almost going to say watching. Thank you for listening to this extended version of Two Guys Talking. We are trying a longer format. Obviously, we've got a surprise for you coming in a few weeks' time. So, you know, getting ready for that.
Yeah. And obviously, we hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope we can get some feedback from some of the listeners, and if people like it, we'll keep pushing for this long format.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram at
TGT_pod.
Podcast. Yeah, just pod.
Just pod.
TGT_pod. Give us some feedback. Let us know on there how you're doing and what's going on in your life. And on that note, see you next week.